Baldur's Gate is a 1999 novel by Philip Athans, and it is a tie-in, of course, to the video game, and it released 7 months after the game. I have very little experience with the games, and so this tempers my experience with the novel. It would be nice to have someone read this and discuss it with that knows the story of the games better than I. Of course, I've played the games, but I spent more time in the Dark Alliance spin-offs. It is set in 1368 DR. Abdel Adrian, a sellsword, duels a handful of men, other sellswords he recognizes, so they're not just strangers. Abdel doesn't know who hired them to attack him and his foster father, Gorion. Disaster strikes as Gorion is killed, and the two were on their way to the Friendly Arm Inn in the walled keep between Beregost and Baldur's Gate. They had left from Candlekeep, and Gorion wishes Abdel to meet with Jaheira and Khalid at this inn. In the game, it is Saravak Anchev who personally slays Gorion. Saravak is a ballspawn originally from Orgel in Sembia. We meet him with his lover Tomoko, who he tells that his brother still lives. He wants war with Baldur's Gate and Am, and that is what Abdel is, trying to prevent. Abdel himself was raised by a monk, a former harper, after his mother died in a raid by that organization. He has been a mercenary for years and venerated Torm in his youth. Somehow he is related to Saravak, who is not human, at least not fully. Abdel finds a note of his father, on his father, in reference to the Avatar crisis, and then gains two companions quickly. These are the halfling Muntyren and the human Czar. They rescue him from a horse of gibberlings, and these two are tied up with Nashkel and Zaravak, as they are actually his interim agents. We even get to mention of the Iron Throne organization. This doesn't show up too often, so it kind of surprised me. I last remember reading about it in Azure Bonds. And there is much action in this book. It becomes tedious pretty fast as it makes up so much of the plot. It's a kind of akin to a Drizzt novel. There's just nonstop action. This may be the reason this novel gets a lot of hate, but it could be that those familiar with the game find the novel unfaithful. Baal, the dead god of murder, is a chief player in the story. Those familiar with the game won't be surprised that his emblem is the game logo and is on the cover of the book as well. This god's influence explains Abdel's quickness to kill. We have creatures like ghouls and doppelgangers, kobolds and spiders, so forth. A reference is made of Pakis the Bard from Threat from the Sea. Athans was likely the editor on those novels and used the character reference as an Easter egg for people like me. The dwarf Yezlik was an interesting character of clan Orothiar, but exiled from his home beneath Clome Wood to Sembia for about a century. Another cool thing is the elf son Havern, famously in the games. It makes an appearance here. We also have a character named Scar from the hamlet Bowshot, and there is a weird scene that is rather sexual. It honestly made me laugh. It was so bad. Abdel has an interesting relationship with Jaheira that weirdly involves her husband, Khalid. This doesn't seem to be the case in the games. The whole idea of forgiving attempted murder is odd, even when the reasons are, I guess, decent behind them. The story climaxes and then ends probably something to do with the game's ending, since there's no denouement or falling action. It's overall kind of an interesting novel, but again, I feel like it'd be interesting if I had actually played more of the games, knew the story of the games more. But that one sexual scene is just so funny. It's so absurd. I don't know what the heck happened there. But anyways, overall, the worst book I've ever read, no. It's really short, so if it was longer, that would have been worse. But probably one you can skip, unless you're a fan of the Baldur's Gate games, unless that sounds terrible to you, and then maybe you shouldn't read it. But there are other Baldur's Gate fictions out there as well, and I've covered them on my blog, actually, more than I've done so here. But anyways, Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I will catch you next time.